We are looking at Daniel's freestyle below the water, commentary by Coach Chris. Just like we did above water, we're just going to let this one run a little bit. Solid turn, a little bit rushed on the first kick. Let's go back to that wall because I'm seeing a lot of good stuff with the freestyle, and we'll talk about that pull a little bit. But the turn is one of the areas you've been working really hard and doing a really good job with. Flipping, landing on our back, that's exactly what we talk about. Now the one thing is I'd like a little more glide. See, we're still on our back and side when we take this first kick. A little too early. Let's keep gliding and wait till we're here. Wait till we're rolling almost to our stomach. When we're facing this way, that's where we want to be when we take that first kick. So get rid of that first kick that you're already taking. It's a little too early. Make sure you're rolling, and don't take your first kick on that dolphin kick until we're almost on our stomach. Right there would be perfect where you're taking your second kick in this one. But nice tight streamline. Letting go of it a little early, but not too bad. Let's try and hold it a little bit more. Good head position. I really like what I'm seeing on that stroke, but let's break it down a little bit because there's a few things. Now this is really, really good because we've been working hard on this, and I want to point this out because you're doing a lot of things right. We talk about head position, down and forward. You're looking down and forward. We talk about with our sculling drills where you want to reach. You're reaching down and forward, not just straight across the water. That is exactly what we've been talking about. So really, really good. See, that left arm, though, comes in a little bit too straight. But this is something that I've been working on with a lot of kids. This anchor phase of the freestyle, right here where you get that nice deep wrist bend. You've already got a good feel for trying to do that. See how you're trying to turn that hand down? Now, the one thing I noticed on the full speed is we're not quite getting anchored enough. We do it sometimes, but we're not doing it consistently. So remember, you're going to have multiple phases of that freestyle. You're going to have your rise on the recovery. So that's when your arm's coming up on the recovery. You have the fall of the recovery. That's when your recovery's falling down towards the water. You're going to have the extension where you're at in this frame where you're reaching forward. Then you're going to have the anchor phase where we bend that wrist and turn the hand down. That's the anchor phase. And then you're going to have the pull phase where you pull through the water. So those are the different pieces of our freestyle stroke. Okay? You're pretty consistent on all of them, but the anchor phase. And most of the kids your age are missing the anchor phase altogether. So remember, once you get to the end of this extension phase, you need to bend the wrist, try to get the hand straight up and down before you start to pull the water. Now, since you're doing so good, I'm going to introduce something a little more advanced. Okay? So here we go. We're going to look at the depth of your hand in the water you're pulling. Right now you're pulling right about here. So that's depth 1. Go depth 2. We're going to go depth 3. So what are these 3 lines? Well, these 3 lines represent the different depths you can pull the water. So I want you to think about it this way. The bottom line, the very first one at the very bottom, furthest away from you, the deepest line, that is your sprint water. If you're trying to go fast, you want to reach down into that deep water and grab that water and pull that water. So that's your sprinting water at the very bottom. It's the deepest water you can grab. That gives you the most power, but it'll tire you out the fastest. So keep that in mind when you're reaching down into that high octane water. Don't swim a long distance race trying to grab that water. 50 free, 100 free. That's about it for that deep water, that bottom line. The second line, about where you're pulling now, that is your 100 freestyle water. What that's going to do, if you bring your hand into that line, That is still pretty deep, so you're getting a good grip on water, solid grip on some still water, and you're extended enough with a long enough arm, they're going to generate a lot of power. You can hold it longer than the sprint water that's way down there, but you're still going to fatigue. That would be 100 free, 200 free. Okay? This top line, the very top line, that is your distance water. That's cruising speed. That's where you got to go fast, the longest amount of time, the most amount of strokes. So when you're trying to go a pace that's for like a middle part of a 200 or the 500 or the mile, you want to be in that shot, you want to be pulling your hands in that water closer to your body. So think about it this way. Deeper water, you pull for more power. Closer into the body you pull, that water is for more endurance. You'll fatigue more if you reach out, but more power. You won't have as much power, but you'll last longer if you have the hand closer to the body. So play around with those different depths. We do a lot of speed play. When we're doing sprint stuff, reach deeper. When we're doing longer distance stuff, longer distance pulls, when we're doing 500s, that sort of thing, try and pull closer into the body so that you're actually lowering your drag profile and you're actually conserving energy. Something to think about, something to play with. But I really like a lot of what I'm seeing. Head position, good. 99% of the stroke technique is solid. Just got to work on adding and getting more consistent with that anchor phase. Good job on the turn. Let's be more patient. But I see a lot of good stuff. I look forward to seeing you at practice tonight.